Urgent warning. A momentous event is approaching, one that will shake the world to its core. Welcome back to our channel, where we wish you a day filled with the grace of Christ. To stay informed about the latest messages and insights, we invite you to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Join us as we explore a message of profound hope, faith, and readiness, especially as we find ourselves in an era marked by turmoil and uncertainty. In these times of chaos, when the world seems gripped by fear and confusion, there is a powerful call to action, a call for spiritual reform, solidarity, and unshakable faith. Inspired by the Virgin Mary's eternal love and wisdom, this message encourages humanity to prepare spiritually for the trials that lie ahead. She invites us to undergo a deep, personal transformation, one that goes far beyond surface-level change. Mary beckons us to surrender ourselves completely to her and to her Son, Jesus Christ, who is always there to protect and guide his faithful followers. This is not just a call for individual salvation, but for a collective awakening, a collective effort to turn our hearts back toward God. In the face of the growing divisions, hatred, and apathy that permeate society, the Virgin Mary urges us to be agents of love and peace. In a world increasingly moving away from these virtues, we are called to be the peacemakers, to bless those around us, and to show kindness and compassion to all. It is through love and faith that we will survive the coming trials, for those who remain steadfast in their belief will endure the hardships that lie ahead. However, Mary's message is not only one of comfort. She also brings a serious warning. The skies will burn, signaling the onset of a time of great hardship and spiritual darkness. This vision is meant to stir urgency in our hearts, for it foretells a period when both natural disasters and spiritual crises will rock the earth. Yet, in the face of this looming crisis, Mary calls her children to stand firm. It is crucial, she emphasizes, to keep faith alive and to endure, even when the world seems to be descending into chaos. Certain nations will be particularly affected by these trials. Mexico, Colombia, Spain, Venezuela, Costa Rica, and Argentina are singled out as countries that will experience devastating earthquakes, wars, and other hardships. These nations will not only face physical calamities, but will also confront a spiritual battle that demands our attention. The Virgin Mary urges us to lift these nations in prayer, especially for the innocent lives caught in the turmoil. Beyond these external struggles, Mary warns of a profound spiritual battle that is already underway. This conflict is not confined to one region or nation, but affects the world at large. As the faithful, we are called to rise to the occasion, praying with sincerity and unwavering faith. Through our collective prayers and actions, we can bring about God's mercy and protect those suffering from the spiritual and physical storms that will inevitably come. In this pivotal moment in history, we are reminded that through prayer, love, and solidarity, we can endure the trials ahead. It is time for all of us to awaken to the reality of what is unfolding and to take proactive steps to prepare spiritually. Mary's message is one of hope, but also a clear and urgent invitation to act with faith, love, and a commitment to God's will. The world is increasingly facing a surge in natural disasters and global conflicts, signaling the rise of a profound spiritual battle. At the heart of this chaos is the emergence of the Antichrist, whose goal is to mislead and deceive many from the truth of Christ. Apostasy, blasphemy, and the rejection of divine truth are spreading rapidly across the globe, making it crucial for believers to remain vigilant. Mary urges her children not to fall into complacency during these times of moral decline. To combat the growing forces of evil, she calls for acts of compassion, constant prayer, and unwavering spiritual vigilance. Those who remain true to God, dedicating themselves to the Sacred Heart of Jesus and the Immaculate Heart of Mary, will find strength and protection against the lies and deceptions being propagated by the powers of darkness. Despite the web of deceit spun by the Antichrist, those who place their trust in the divine will be shielded by God's love and grace. Central to this call to action is the power of prayer, especially the daily recitation of the Rosary. Each prayer, each Hail Mary, becomes a beacon of light in a world shrouded in darkness. The Rosary is more than just a ritual. It is a spiritual defense that channels divine grace and protection for both the individual and the world. Through the Rosary, we invite God's mercy and power into our lives, creating a shield of light that counters the growing forces of evil. In addition to prayer, Mary encourages her children to call upon Saint Michael the Archangel, the mighty protector of God's people. As the commander of the heavenly hosts, Saint Michael stands ready to defend humanity from the spiritual attacks of the devil. His intercession is vital in this ongoing spiritual warfare. When we invoke his protection, we receive the strength and courage to face the challenges ahead, knowing that we are not alone in the fight. Mary's message is one of profound hope and essential preparation. She assures her children that God's presence will never falter, even in the most difficult times. He is always by our side, offering his love and protection, but it is vital that we, the faithful, give our hearts fully to him. This is a time for deep introspection, repentance, and spiritual renewal. Mary calls us to live holy lives, to engage in penance, and to prepare ourselves spiritually for the challenges to come. Physical preparation is important, but spiritual readiness is paramount. Through prayer, fasting, and acts of charity, we strengthen ourselves against the spiritual forces of darkness. We are called to be rays of light and hope in a world that is growing ever darker. As the world enters a period of great adversity, the strength of our faith will be put to the test, and it will be in these moments that the true power of our devotion shines. Mary urges us to pray not only for ourselves, but for the world. Every act of devotion, every prayer, has the power to change the course of events, reduce suffering, and bring peace in the midst of turmoil. She calls us to actively engage in the spiritual struggle, never giving up, and to offer sacrifices for the sake of peace. This is a time to stand firm in our faith, to be a light for others, and to trust in God's eternal love and protection. A call to spiritual renewal. Embrace the light of God's mercy. Welcome back, dear friends. As we gather together in the presence of God's grace, let us reflect on the urgent message being sent to us from the Virgin Mary. A message that offers both a call to action and an invitation to embrace God's love and mercy. In times of uncertainty and approaching darkness, it is essential that we respond with courage, faith, and prayer. Please join us as we delve into this powerful message, and be sure to subscribe and share with others, for this is a message meant for all. The world stands at the threshold of profound trials, and yet, even in the face of these daunting times, the Virgin Mary assures us that hope is not lost. She calls us to pray for the conversion of sinners, to join her Immaculate Heart in supplication, and by doing so, become instruments of God's mercy. This prayerful dedication is not merely for our own benefit, but for the sake of all humanity. Through our prayers, we assist in easing the impending hardships, offering grace to those most in need, and helping to bring peace to a world on the verge of spiritual and moral collapse. A message of hope amidst severe warnings. While the warnings the Virgin Mary shares are severe, her message is fundamentally one of hope. She speaks of the coming dark era, not as the final end, but as a time of purification, a moment where humanity will be tested, and many souls will be drawn back to God. This is not the end, but a turning point, a period where faith will be restored and the love of God will triumph over the forces of evil that are seeking to consume the world. The Sacred Heart of Jesus and the Immaculate Heart of Mary stand as symbols of God's unwavering love and protection. Those who remain true to God and dedicate themselves to these sacred hearts will find shelter, strength, and guidance in the storms to come. Despite the apparent darkness, the light of faith will prevail. Through prayer, sacrifice, and devotion, the faithful will be empowered to endure the trials of this era and emerge victorious. The power of prayer and the rosary in the face of this impending trial. The Virgin Mary emphasizes the power of prayer as our spiritual weapon. She urges us to make the rosary our primary tool in this spiritual battle. Each prayer, each Hail Mary, is a light that pushes back the darkness and brings divine grace into our lives. The rosary is not just a prayer to be recited, it is a living prayer, a bond that unites us with God, strengthens our souls, and serves as a shield against the attacks of evil. Mary also asks the faithful to invoke Saint Michael the Archangel, the celestial defender who stands ready to protect humanity from spiritual threats. Saint Michael's intercession is vital in these times, offering the faithful the courage and protection needed to face the challenges ahead. When we call upon Saint Michael, we align ourselves with the forces of heaven, ensuring that we are not alone in this battle. The sacraments, heavenly strength and healing alongside prayer. The Virgin Mary underscores the vital importance of the sacraments, particularly the Eucharist and confession. These sacred rites offer us the grace and strength we need to face the trials of life. The Eucharist is Christ's living presence among us, offering comfort and bravery in our moments of weakness. In the Eucharist, we find the strength to carry on and the grace to endure whatever trials may come. Confession is equally important, for it allows us to seek God's forgiveness, to cleanse our souls, and to align ourselves with His divine will. Through the regular reception of the sacraments, we become fortified against the spiritual attacks of the enemy and strengthen our bond with God. A time for spiritual readiness. The Virgin Mary's message is clear: get spiritually ready. The days ahead may bring adversity, but with faith and devotion, we will not be left to face these challenges alone. The faithful are called to prepare spiritually, to be vigilant in prayer, and to trust in God's plan. Rather than being overwhelmed by fear or dread, we must embrace the confidence that comes from knowing that God's love will always protect and guide us. The Rosary, Eucharist, Confession, and our devotion to the Sacred Heart of Jesus and the Immaculate Heart of Mary will be our sources of strength, protection, and peace. By living lives of prayer, penance, and devotion, we will be fortified and protected in the spiritual battle that rages around us. Be a light in the darkness as the world plunges deeper into confusion and darkness. The Virgin Mary calls each one of us to be a light. We must act, pray, share God's message of mercy and hope, and help guide those who have lost their way. The spiritual conflict is real, but so is the grace that flows from God's love. By responding to Mary's call with trust and confidence, we can be instruments of peace, spreading light and hope in a world that desperately needs it. In these times of uncertainty, there is a great spiritual battle unfolding, but there is also an abundance of grace for those who are willing to accept it. The Virgin Mary calls us to be a living testament to God's love and to stand firm in faith, trusting that in the end, God's love will overcome the darkness and bring about the victory of His kingdom. Conclusion: a call to action. Mary's call is a call to spiritual action, to prayer, to devotion, and to spiritual preparedness. The trials ahead are an opportunity for renewal and purification, a chance for the faithful to draw closer to God and to share His love with the world. Through prayer, sacrifice, and devotion, we can change the course of events, lessen the severity of suffering, and pave the way for a future of peace, hope, and love. The light of faith will triumph, and those who remain true to God and dedicate themselves to His Sacred Heart and the Immaculate Heart of Mary will find the strength and protection to endure the days ahead. Together, in the light of God's love, we shall face the challenges of this life, knowing that His victory is assured. Thank you for being part of this journey. May these words inspire and uplift you, strengthening your connection to God's love and guiding you through the challenges ahead. Until next time, may God's grace and peace be with you always.